Alright guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to crush tank junglers. I'm going to be giving you heaps of examples and loads of tips, so buckle up. I love playing against tank junglers on Kindred jungle. Just take Conqueror, watch for your buff, and it should be really easy. You are going to have to path towards them though, so I would start with your bot lane and they should start with theirs. So in this case I'm going to do red buff. Then after red buff, I'm not going to take raptors. I'm going to move straight into my blue buff, and then I'm going to do Gromp. The point isn't to farm as many camps as possible. The point is to get to point A to point B relatively quickly. That way I can go and invade Rammus on his next buff. Most likely he's done one camp more than me, or his clear is just slower and I should meet him here. So I lay my ward in the bush. He's not even here yet, so I'm going to hop the wall and I'm going to do his golems while I wait. You need to be mindful of where you lay your W. If Rammus were to go to red buff and step in the bush, if my W went onto the other side into the bush, he would see it. So it's better to place it here, favoring top side. That way the enemy shouldn't be able to see it and you can still kill the enemy jungler on red buff. I've been looking at the minimap this whole time and I see Rammus, so I'm going to kite towards it and save my Q to get over the wall. I'm going to keep farming the golems for gold and experience while I wait for him to get it low. That way he will be lower on health, easier to kill. I saw him just blow all of his spells, so this is a good time to jump out and attack him. I wasn't even really trying to smite the red buff. I didn't think he would do that much damage to it, so he does end up getting the red buff, but I kill him, so it was totally worth it. As somebody who's played a lot of tank junglers, I realize they are weak in their initial clear and very abusable. If you refuse to abuse tank junglers in their first clear, then they will eventually just outscale you and win the game most likely. After the invade kill, Scuttle is an easy pickup. Meanwhile, I see Renekton is pushing top. Garen sets it up beautifully and I don't have to do much of anything. Just run him down, get off an auto attack. At this point, I helped Garen push the wave and then I can back off and pressure the other side Scuttle Crab. This gank did throw off the timing though, and there's no way I'm going to be able to get to it before Rammus does. Always try to get your completed jungle item on Kindred before you get your boots. If you're in a pinch though, you can pick up boots, but don't get the tier 2s before you have your completed warrior. Rammus makes a big mistake here by trying to gank bot lane, especially against a Veigar cage. It counters Rammus really hard. Rammus is behind in levels and in gold. Not to mention, Rammus as a champion is highly item reliant, so him forcing a gank right now is suboptimal and he should farm until he can get some more items or level 6. Instead, he's putting himself farther behind. I laid a pink in this bush, so I was confident in this gank. I flash his stun and stay on him. Unfortunately, he took barrier because he's a pussy. You're going to see in this video that that's going to come to hurt him later on. A mark just popped up on Rammus's Gromp, so I want to go ahead and head over there. Unfortunately, I missed the wall because I need to go in the practice tool and practice that wall segment. I seem to miss it all the time. Also, pay close attention to the minimap. Pyke cancels his recall and moves towards the area, so that means Rammus is obviously here or this is warded. Unfortunately, I was greedy. I thought I could get the mark, maybe kill Rammus as well, and then still get away, but instead I just end up dying and getting nothing. That is a perfect example of why you can't let your marks control you. You have to use your better judgment and realize when you should back off of the marks. Speaking of marks, one just showed up on Rammus's Raptors. Nasus got some lane priority shoving Bran in. I see Bran moving towards me, so I'm going to move away from Bran and closer to Rammus's side of the jungle. My Q comes up just in time. I spam it, end up dodging the Bran stun. Bran is desperate and out of mana, so he just starts to run, but honestly, you can't really expect to get away from a Kindred with how short the cooldown is on her Qs and with her powerful slow. And I pick up another awesome kill and I get a mark off of him. This is the final big greed I pulled. I did my red buff and path towards Rammus's blue. Unfortunately, he did take it in time. I turn on him and the enemy bot lane rotates absolutely mad, getting there super quick, and they barely pinch me off before I can kill Rammus. Again, unfortunate situation, but deep down, I knew it was the incorrect play and my greed got the better of me. Coming back from base, I have a lot of items. Rammus is still behind in terms of gold and level, so I can set up another invade on him. I go for my blue, then move immediately into his red buff. I come in at the perfect timing, steal the red buff from him, and he's only level 5. I'm going to proceed to chase him down. It's okay if I take a turret shot. I'm going to Q auto attack and finish him off. Bran turns on to me. He still has my old red buff, so he is doing quite a bit of damage. I'm shredding into him really hard though, constantly moving and shooting. I do get the kill, but he does kill me in turn. The good news is Rammus is still behind, so I can assert my dominance. He feels pressure to gank since he's falling farther behind because I keep invading him. The issue with that is if I just show up, then it is an easy pickup kill for us and he'll fall even farther behind. For example, he's dead now. I can go get my mark for absolutely free. I can take Scuttle Crab for free. I can take his wolves for free. I can take this pink ward for free. And I can even take Dragon for free. If he avoided that gank, not only would he have died and given me more gold, but I wouldn't have been able to move into his jungle effectively unless my laners had priority. Here I am setting up a gank top lane. Meanwhile, I see Rammus mid lane, and that gives me a lot of information. He's low on health, and he's likely going to come to my new mark or his topside jungle since his blue buff isn't up. This sets up an easy opportunity for me to kill him, so I walk all the way around to get into the bush to set myself up for a really easy kill, and I also get the mark on the Scuttle Crab. I just Q, finish him off, and there he goes, falling even farther behind. The rest of this game was a breeze with my built-up advantage. I just continued to take turrets, pressure Rammus, and we grouped up as a team and ended. Alright guys, I'm going to be showing you game number 2. Same thing, start with your bot lane, and you are going to want to path towards the enemy jungler. Playing a champion in the jungle that can take Conquer is really good versus tank junglers. Since it takes a while to kill them, the extra true damage and healing will really come in handy. You're going to want to skip your raptors in most cases. They take too long. You're really aiming for 3 camps and then killing them on their next buff. So in my case, I'm going to be taking my red buff with my bot lane, then I'm going to be taking my blue buff, and then my Grom. After you've taken your 3 camps, run over to their next buff, hop over the wall, and wait in the bush for a moment to figure out what's happening. In this case, Nunu's already taken it. He's going to his golems, so I'm going to let him start it and waste his abilities before I show up. He got the golems nice and low on HP for me, so I still them quite easily. And then I start blasting him, getting him really low on health. I didn't get his flash yet, but he's so low on health that me and Renekton are starting a dive opportunity on the Darius potentially. Nunu ends up making a awkward pathing, and now I get his flash. Darius tries to help him. Renekton comes in, and now I'm going to blow Darius apart underneath his turret. Darius just lost a few waves of minions, and Zoe is coming to help. Nunu for some reason didn't back, and he gets himself killed. He thinks he's a lot tankier than he is, and that's the truth about tank junglers. In the early game, before they've even bought any items and they're low level, they're really not very tanky. You can kill them super quickly. Zoe steps up too far and takes a decent amount of damage. I wait for my red buff to wear off on her, and now I'm going to run past the turret, and me and Renekton are going to chase her down. I'm waiting for his stun. She blows a lot of damage into me. I heal off of my passive and hit level 4. If I didn't hit level 4, I would have definitely died, so there was some luck involved. However, I do think Renekton would have gotten the kill on her regardless. Even though I am low on HP, the enemy mid laner is dead, and the enemy jungler has just pretty much spawned in, so taking Scuttle Crabs is super easy. I'm going to go ahead and back off at this point though. I don't want to go over to the other Scuttle Crab yet, even though Nunu's probably going to get it. Xerath's low on mana, and Zoe would bully him off, and I would end up in a bad 1v2 situation. I just got my items, and I am ahead. There's no reason to force a gank since there isn't one on the map right now, so I'm going to blow through my golems and head over to my raptors. When clearing your camps, it's usually best to work your way outside in. That way you're closer to mid lane, so then you can either go bot, top, or gank mid, or invade the enemy's jungle. It gives you the most options. If I were to have done raptors then golems, then it would have forced me in a situation where bot lane would have been my only real opportunity. Plus, whenever the raptors and golems spawn back in, raptors would spawn in first and then golems, which would have set up the same situation. That's not a bad option though if you do intend on just camping bot lane. But since I am playing against a tank jungler as a strong early mid-game champion, I don't want to just sit bot lane. I want to be able to pressure multiple points on the map and put a lot of pressure on the enemy jungler, on my marks in his jungle, and on his buff respawns especially. If I have 0 lane priority and I see the enemy start to move towards that mark when I go for it, I'll go ahead and usually give it up. Nunu was hiding in the bush like a little cuck. I didn't smite it in time. I didn't want to waste my red smite. Zoe is coming to help. I'm holding onto my Q, just juking out their skill shots, and at this point they're boned. Zoe should not have come to help. I'm way too far ahead, and she didn't necessarily have mid lane priority. Mid lane was relatively neutral, which puts her in a very awkward 2v2 situation like you see here. Whenever you do kill the enemy jungler or the tank jungler, this is a good opportunity to take the rest of their camps, take a turret, take a dragon, and in this case Darius is low on health, so I am going to set up a dive over just doing golems. Anticipating the kill, I get the mark down on him before it's too late because I want to actually get the mark. If you don't put it down soon enough and you kill them, you don't actually get the mark. I go ahead and take first aggro and walk away. That way I can easily step out of turret range since I'm a ranged champion. Since Renekton is so tanky though, we probably could have gotten away with him taking first aggro since he does have a stun. Do you remember when I mentioned that tank junglers actually aren't tanky in the early and mid game? Yeah, this is exactly what I was talking about. I do understand he is really far behind, but still, melted through him like butter. Now that Nunu is dead once again, I can take his camps and set up more ganks. In this case, the enemy bot lane is very gankable underneath their turret. Draven wasn't quite there yet, so it made it very easy for me to sneak up behind the Braum, and now they're in a very bad spot, and we're going to go ahead and pick up a double kill. One nice thing about constantly being in the enemy's jungle is it sets you up for really good ganks that you wouldn't otherwise be able to make since you're already right there on top of the enemy laners. I was going to pull the same move here as well since I'm already right on top of her. Xerath didn't quite finish pushing in the wave and he ends up just getting her by himself, so I didn't really get the opportunity. On a positive note, I was still there just in case if Nunu ganked or if somebody roamed, I would have been there to kill them and shut that operation down. This is the same situation. I was in Nunu's jungle, so it set me up to stop them trying to kill Xerath, and I do pick up the kill on Draven. As Nunu pursues, I ultimate, puts him in a really bad spot. Now he has to fight to the death, and obviously having Conqueror fully stacked and being ahead of him, there's really nothing he can do. Zoe doesn't quite get the picture yet. Even though I'm low on HP, I'm still very dangerous inside of my W. My Q's on a very short cooldown. I'm putting out constant auto attacks, using my Q to dodge skill shots and pick up the kill on Zoe, pushing Braum away and setting up an easy turret. The rest of this game followed an exponential pattern where we just continued to step on them until ultimately they surrendered at the 15-minute marks. And that is going to wrap up this video for how to crush tank junglers, and it is a part of our series of Unranked to Challenger and A. Go ahead and check out the other episodes as we climb to Challenger. Also, don't forget to check out the pinned comment down below or the icon link to win $20 by getting the most kills in 10 minutes. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to smash that like button, comment, and subscribe. My name is KingStix. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.